Hey guys, MarWood here, and E3 is here, finally. And I wanted to make this little video discussing what has happened in E3 so far. More so what I liked about E3 so far. It's currently Monday of E3, so I think today's the last day. It's still like mid-afternoon, so a lot of studios haven't been on, like Square Enix, Nintendo, Sony, and a few others, I think. But I wanted to make this quick video, so just discussing what I've liked so far. I mean, there's been a lot of things I was really wanting to see at E3, and E3 this year didn't actually completely suck, which surprised me, unlike last year. And I was actually surprised by a lot of the new titles that were apparently being worked on. Fucking B. I really enjoyed Bethesda's conference this year. And I really thought they actually brought a lot to it. Though I feel in some ways E3 this year is a bit of a letdown, but I guess that comes with every year of E3. Something always sucks. So we're just gonna talk about it. Most of the good stuff, a lot of the bad stuff. Most of the bad stuff comes with EA, unsurprisingly. Anyway, let's get into it. So the first developer and company I guess I want to talk about is Microsoft and Xbox. They sort of came in the same thing. Surprisingly, Xbox actually surprised me this year. They came out with a couple interesting titles. I mean, these Xbox, they don't come out with all the good stuff. But one that really did interest me this year was Cyberpunk 2077. Sort of like I don't really know what it is, to be honest. It's sort of like a sci-fi shooter. I didn't see that much of the Xbox conference, and I neglected to go back and watch it because it was far too long and I did not have time. But what did interest me was Cyberpunk 2077. Most of the other stuff for Xbox, personally for me, was a bit shit. So like Dying Light 2, I didn't really like the first Dying Light. It was a bit boring as zombie games go. Dying Light 2 looked a bit better with parkour. A lot of it was pretty much impossible parkour, but parkour nonetheless. You know, all the edgy 12-year-olds got wet over that one. Forza 2. Sorry, Forza... Jesus Christ. Forza 4. I think it's Forza 4. I cannot fucking remember. I should have really put notes here, but I didn't. I neglected to do that. This is not professional. Anyway, Forza this time, it's a fucking car game. What more do you want me to say? It had really nice graphics, though I don't know. I think at the Microsoft they were playing on an Xbox. It might have been a PC, it might have been an Xbox, I don't fucking know. I wasn't paying that much attention to it. But one thing that did stand out to me was the amount of frame lag that game was getting. If that was on a console people, I mean, if it was on a console, it would have been on a Xbox One X, the best console they make. So, in that case, that's pretty shitty. It was getting like really bad lag, like 20 FPS. It was pretty damn terrible, actually. But I'm pretty sure if it's on a PC, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. I mean, you know, PCs are generally better than consoles. So the next developer I want to talk about is EA. And EA is usually known for bringing a lot of shit to E3. Well, anything really, any convention they go to, a lot of the stuff is shit that they bring. So this time I was actually quite surprised. They actually brought some refreshing titles, personally for me. The most prominent one that I really liked the look of was a game called Anthem, which was sort of like a sci-fi RPG kind of game. And I don't know how loose the term RPG is. don't think EA are really well known for RPGs, if I'm honest. But it seemed to interest me nonetheless, so I'd probably check it out. I think I will check it out. And there was another game called Sea of Solitude, which was an indie game developed by some German company that I can't pronounce or remember the name of. Something to do with depression and sadness, which, as far as indie games go, a lot of them are like that, but it seemed quite interesting. I don't know that much about it, but it looked quite interesting. It sounds quite good on paper, but I don't personally know how well it will be. I hope it's as good as it sounds, and as good as some of the cover art for the game is, because it does look quite nice, and it looks like it's actually been cared for, and I hope that's the case. Unravel 2 is a co-op game, and I played I don't know. I liked the first game that they made. There wasn't really much to it, but I hope this one just doesn't suck, because it seemed quite an interesting concept, like the art style, like the graphics, such things like that. Mechanics were good, mostly. So hopefully they just don't fuck it up. It's EA. And next is probably EA's more controversial topic, which is Star Wars. And Star Wars this time decided to bring a lot... Well, it mentioned a lot about bringing a lot of Clone Wars stuff into it, I think. So I'm assuming that we do more Clone Wars maps, armors, probably more microtransactions to buy those. It's fucking EA, what do you expect? Shit like that. Though I was interested to hear about Jedi Fallen Order, which I believe is a new sort of Star Wars game. And it sounds really interesting. Apparently there's all lightsabers and shit and stuff, and it's an actual Star Wars game, other than Battlefront 2, which died a week after launch, that I somehow have a lot of hours on. Which is now fucked on my computer, by the way. It won't run anymore. I don't know why. But hopefully they don't fuck it up. I know EA have canned a lot of Star Wars projects in the past, but hopefully, well, it's been confirmed, so it's basically a thing now. I just hope it doesn't suck. I mean, EA are developing it, so who the hell knows. And the most controversial to me personally is Battlefield 5, which as a game sort of seems okay. It's a Battlefield game, what more do you say? They're all the fucking same, just with a fancy new shader every time. Though this time they decided to introduce a Battle Royale mode. I can't remember what they actually called it, but it's a Battle Royale mode. And personally, I fucking hate Battle Royale modes. PUBG, Fortnite, fucking Minecraft Hunger Games. I don't like them, personally. But I get that some people do. But the thing I think I have the problem is with that game, having a Battle Royale mode, is that if the sort of trend of Battle Royale games dies out, which it probably will sometime in the next few years, that game mode is going to be dead. No one's going to be playing it. It'll just be normal multiplayer in the campaign or whatever fucking modes they put on the game. But I don't think it will be lasting that long, to be honest. We come to which I was most excited for this E3, which was Bethesda. Bethesda really brought a lot to the table this year at E3, which is much fucking better than last year. It was just more VR titles, more DLC, and more microtransactions. though Bethesda is my personal favourite developer, so I hope this isn't too biased, but I thought it was really well done this year. They had a lot of good shit that they brought in. Rage 2 I thought was quite interesting. I thought that was going to be a bit weird, but it wasn't as bad as I thought, and actually quite appealed to me. I'd never played the first Rage game, but this one actually seemed good. So I was quite interested by that. The other sort of games was more Wolfenstein DLCs, more Prey. The Prey Moon DLC, which was, I think it was posted months ago, wasn't too much of a surprise because it was on Twitter and everywhere else a while back, but seemed interesting nonetheless. Prey's a pretty good game. I'm pretty sure, like, the DLC they said was going to be also in VR, I think, so that's something interesting. Bethesda seemed to like making everything in fucking VR for some reason, so why the hell not? Wolfenstein is getting the Youngblood DLC, I think they called it. I don't know. I think it's something like that. Which also seemed quite interesting. That sounded quite good. I never played the first Wolfenstein. I did play the second one, the New Colossus. Jesus Christ, it's a completely different series. I enjoyed it a lot, and I would be quite interested in playing that DLC. And apparently Bethesda are also releasing another DLC along with that, which is another VR DLC. So how well that goes, I don't really know. The context that was given sounded pretty boring, to be completely honest. Just repairing robots and sending them to fuck up Nazis. But I don't know. It could be good, it could be bad. I'm not too sure. There was that was most of the stuff for Bethesda Softworks. There were some other minor things here and there. Elder Scrolls Legends, I think, was part of that or some shit. But I have no actual fucking interest in Elder Scrolls Legends. It's the most boring game since fucking Dota 2 or League of Legends. ESO with ZeniMax was actually quite interesting, there wasn't much there. It was a quick brief presentation on Elder Scrolls Somerset, the DLC chapter that was, released like last week for consoles and a couple of months ago for PC, which I've already played and completed, and I fucking loved it. I kind of actually like ESO, surprisingly. I'm not the biggest lover of MMOs generally, but I actually kind of like it. But yeah, I enjoyed that. And I think the most controversial part of everything that Bethesda did this year at E3 was most definitely the mobile game. It was speculated they'd probably have a mobile game. This year they chose, last time at Fallout 4's release, they chose to release Fallout Shelter, which is a game where you create a Fallout shelter and manage it with microtransactions. Not that many, surprisingly, but hey, you gotta make money. One thing they did release this year though was a Elder Scrolls themed mobile game, which sort of worked, sort of not. I'm not really sure. It's not out yet, so I don't have a fucking clue what it's like. But I don't think it's going to be that great. I mean, fucking hay fever stings my eyes. I don't think it'll be that great personally. I know it's on a phone. I believe they're porting it to Switch and console, I think they said. But that seemed odd. The graphics weren't great. I know it's on a phone. What the fuck do you expect? But it seems to be sort of like a whole Elder Scrolls game, but dumbed down onto a phone. I'm not really sure what the context of it is. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I know there's arena fighting, and that's about as much as I know. I don't really know much more than that. Seems interesting if it works and doesn't look like shit, but who the fuck knows? So that was it really for most of the Bethesda stuff. I was really oh yeah, completely forgot. Fallout 76 was also released, well, announced, and we got the actual information about the game now. That it is a multiplayer game as well as single player. It's also designed so a few people can join. It's not a big multiplayer game. There's also new features and stuff where you can launch your own nukes, much bigger world size. I think it's 4 or 5 times bigger than Fallout 4, which is good, I guess. I don't think there's a particular drawback to that, other than it's just there to fill space because there's more players if it's multiplayer. But I don't think that's too much of a problem because it's not really made for many people to play the multiplayer. There was new features like launching nukes, you can build anywhere, and it was just talking generally about the map, different regions and stuff, but nothing too particular. But it did seem very good, and I am particularly hyped for that game. Comes out on the 14th of November this year, 2018, and it does seem really interesting, and I am looking forward to that. And that was the big chunk of Bethesda, and I really enjoyed it. It was very satisfying, especially compared to last year where they was just releasing DLCs and VR games and Switch ports and shit. So it was really refreshing to see that off Bethesda this year. And it was great. Until Todd Howard came on at the end and basically just confirmed a couple of the games. So first was Starfield, which was predicted to be announced this time, but it wasn't. There was just a teaser trailer, which Starfield is a new sci-fi RPG that Bethesda game studios are working on. Probably be in the next E3, I'd reckon. Probably the next E3, another one after that, I don't know. It depends when it's done. And then, surprisingly, at the end, they actually had a teaser trailer for The Elder Scrolls 6, which still is fucking the air. No one actually has a fucking clue what it's about or anything, which I don't expect, because I guarantee they have barely started the game, and I do not think we'll have it for years yet. I think the probably earliest we'll actually see anything about it is probably 2021, 2022, something like that. For quite a while yet, because I mean, they've got Starfield to work on, which I believe they're partway through starting. They have done some things. They did say they'd worked on it for a couple of years, though I don't think it's anywhere near release. Perhaps next year, the year after maybe. But when that's released, they'll probably put all the time then into working on the Elder Scrolls 6. And that, I know it's a long way away, but that got me really hyped because the Elder Scrolls is my favourite franchise in gaming. So I'm particularly hyped to see all about that, and of course there's fucking theories everywhere. Everyone's had the tinfoil hats on the internet, looking at this 30-second trailer, which probably tells you fuck all, but hey, that's the internet. And that's most of it. That's all of Bethesda this year. And I was really satisfied with the way Bethesda did it. There was a lot of good shit in there, and it was much better than last year. And I personally enjoyed the Bethesda. Whether it was worth staying up till... Actually, I didn't sleep at all last night because in the UK it was on at 2:30 in the morning, so I kind of stayed awake all night and then watched it till 4, and then I couldn't be bothered to sleep, and then went to work. So that was it. But Bethesda was very, very enjoyable. So I think overall this year, E3 was one of the better years that E3's ever had, especially after everyone's car crash last year during their conferences, especially Bethesda. EA fuck up as ever. Though this is, like I said earlier, Monday of E3. So over here it's nearly 4 in the afternoon while recording this, so we will not be seeing any of the final conferences. I think there's one tomorrow, I believe. The last one is Nintendo. 6:30 over here tonight. We have, I think it's Square Enix we have. Ubisoft have got theirs. And Sony do, as well as Nintendo, which I think are tomorrow actually. Which I think is the last day of E3, I don't really know. Square Enix I'm interested to see. Nintendo, not so much. Ubisoft, as long as they're not releasing Rabbids and Mario again, I'm perfectly fine. And Sony with PlayStation probably find a way to fuck it up, they always do. So yeah, that was E3 this year, my personal feelings on E3 2018. Really hyped for Fallout 78 and of course Elder Scrolls 6, even though that is fucking years away yet. But at the current moment, a couple of games I am really looking forward to and keeping my eye on. If you did like any particular ones that were mentioned in the video or not, if you want to leave a comment down below, fine, do that. Tell me what you liked, disliked if you want to. Like or dislike this video. Subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.